AI plus data, someone wanted to jump into the product role. So from your point of view, what kind of advice you would like to give to some 20 years or maybe 25 years?
Like learn to write, structure your thoughts rather than learning any new coding language, I would say.
So you started from selling the industrial valve into the Mumbai,
Like in one word, if I can summarize it, it's like continuous learning.
and then you thought of why I will going to join the Microsoft.
Yeah.
What was the thought process behind that?
No, I think it was a very conscious and I think it was very opportunity choice as well. I think PM without doing AI is it's part of their job.
Correct.
You cannot go away from it. Oh, I'm not. So you have to be.
It's
It's from the retrospective point of view. We had nothing else to do, right? Because during COVID we were not able to go outside.
Correct.
So I don't want to have a regret.
Hi everyone, welcome to the another episode of the Voice of Visionaries. Today we have very special guest. For any giant company like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, most important role is about a product manager, right? For any company, how to design a product, how to evolve the product as per the market, what is the business need, how any product can impact to the growth of the company, everything is a very driven or driven by product managers, right? So today we have a very special guest who is a product manager, but prior to product manager he has 3 career pivots, and we would like to discuss, understand what are the career journeys and how he started from the industry sales to the product owner at a cell, and then moving to the principal product manager at a Microsoft. What is his journey, how he is putting the impact for the new tech, new innovation, and what is the key insights we can get out of his journey, from his thought process, from his learning. Today all episode is about product management, about innovation, about leadership. So welcome Mr. Kunal Parekh.
Hey, thanks for sharing this opportunity. It was nice meeting you. I went through a couple of your podcasts and found it very insightful from different dimensions altogether, from awareness to the leadership
Yes.
to the entrepreneurship. So I'm very excited and looking forward for the next conversation.
Thank you so much, Kunal. So Kunal, we were studying about your career journey, right? So you started from selling the industrial valve into the Mumbai.
Yeah.
Then you shifted to Shell, where you were the product owner, and from Shell you again come to the Microsoft, where you are a principal product manager. So your journey throughout these three different industries, right, is amazing, right? Talking about one industry, generally people just stick to one industry, one domain, and then keep evolving into that. But you did a lot of pivot, right? So what is your journey? Can you just walk us through on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, like after selling walls,
Yeah.
I did my MBA and then I joined the Infosys.
Yes.
Also a very big inflection point for me.
From I am Indore, right?
So that came like little later part of the year.
Yeah.
Earlier I did my MBA from Pandit Dindayal Energy
Yes.
University in Gandhinagar.
Yes.
So I think it is like in one word, if I can summarize it, it's like continuous learning.
Yep.
Continuously improving yourself. But I think the core reason behind it is like identifying whether I am in the right direction, whether I have that particular ability to move myself from valve industry to maybe let's say software and tech.
Yes.
That was used to, used to coin the term in 2012, 2011 time frame. So my first experience gave me a lot of good exposure about keeping your feet on the street, predominantly sales aspects, where I learned on the very early stage of my career how to understand the user, because in a company like Zomox and Val's business, basically in the commercial space, they know your product better than yourself.
Yep.
So and to sell them your product, it's very difficult because then it has to be, you should know like the right configurations and everything. that actually experience working in like refineries and petrochemical companies across Mumbai, and Mumbai is like a hub.
Yes,
for that.
correct.
I identified that there is a lot of institutes who are coming up with like MBA in energy, and I thought, okay, why don't I try for that? So keeping that in mind, like I did my MBA. That is like first pivot, like as you mentioned, from Energy University in Gandhinagar. And then I joined Infi. And Infi, like I was playing more a role of like a consultant, advising, bridge between customer and your development team. That experience actually helped me the nuances of tech, nuances of like how to build applications and products basically. And also like I got some opportunity to work with a lot of customers outside of India and Germany as well. Then the second pivot came in Shell, where I moved from the advisory to be a hands-on business analyst, product manager or product owner, to lead a specific team. And also the one important part of Shell's journey is like coining a kind of a data as a product team.
Okay.
So there used to be a lot of feature teams at that point of time. The whole world was moving the data from on-prem to cloud. So I started working on data as a product team, which was like an horizontal, and all the feature teams basically we were catering the data to them. That actually experience helped me identifying like, okay, what are the new nuances going on, like Spark and Azure, GC, AWS, and so on and so forth. Like what are the competitions are doing, and so on and so forth. And then the third pivot is basically
Microsoft.
jumping into Microsoft, like where I was one of the user of Azure products, and then I became like the core builder of the products. So
this is amazing.
Already working on the other side of the fence, right?
Yes.
So, and then, I mean, difficult to summarize like 15 years in
Absolutely.
a few minutes, but yeah, now as I'm talking, like I can like have a resemblance of like lot of things which I have went through.
Yes,
yeah.
correct. So very important. When you joined Infosys and then you went to this Shell, right? So there, what was your thought process to join the Shell? Because you are in a consulting role, right? And now you are joining a different domain altogether, right?
Yeah.
And there you were joining a team into the tech where you are supposed to build something, or you're just joining the data world altogether, right?
Yeah.
So what was that thought process?
So my thought actually was not about like joining the data world, because I think the migration and data products just kicked off like around that time, 2014-15 time frame. In Infosys, like we used to manage a lot of accounts.
Okay.
So I was part of like one of the oil and gas account called British Petroleum at that point of time, and also I worked on another utility company of Germany, Untold commodities as well. I always like aspire to work in a company where maybe we would be working on the same application rather than on a consulting and advisory.
Yes.
So advisory always has some limitation, but you learned it I learned it in the Infosys that okay, how to work in that particular space, like how the requirements are generated, because we receive the requirement and then we pass on the message to the development team, and eventually the products will be built and application will be built. So I always aspire to go to the next side of the fence, which is the same analogy which I utilize from Shell going to Microsoft also. But I think that actually helped me. So in Shell, basically, I was working on a lot of like oil and gas products, and that actually helped me get into working in a specific products which is truly to trading and supply kind of a business. And it was complementing to what I have done, but working inside the product, working inside that application, working with the tech and also the traders and also the operators, like who basically runs this large amount of oil business, right? So getting a chance to talk to them, understanding the requirement, why the requirement is generated, what are the reason behind it, right? What is the need of it, like why we are solving this problem at all, right? Like, let's say supply chain problem, why we are solving the supply chain problem, okay, to improve the margin, right? So there are a lot of things, which basically helped me. Again, it's a continuous learning, adapting to the new changes, and I thought working in a kind of a product setup is like kind of a good mix for me to evolve into the next set of ambition which I have. So yeah.
Okay. So in Shell, you got the opportunity to build your own team, right?
Yeah.
So for that, what was the reasoning behind that? Why the separate team was required, and was it like a startup within the corporation, or is it something that building a team which is dedicated for the particular objective to achieve?
Yeah, I mean there are multiple objectives. So we have to align with the kind of compliance and rules which every company follows.
Yes.
Right? So maybe forming maybe a small startup coining maybe would be a little difficult, but in a bigger organization like Shell, they call it like, okay, forming a data team. Again,
Okay.
I was not, I was again like I have an influence without authority. Like I was not a people manager.
Yeah.
I was basically the product lead
Okay.
for the data product, where I would align the roadmap and features and like what all different integrations that we need to form, what analytics should be there, what all observability criteria should be there, and so on and so forth. So I defined like the criteria, I identified the people who would be the good fit to use in this particular technology. Like, okay, I have to find someone who is very good at Spark, someone who is very good at middleware integrations, someone who is very good at analytics, right? So I have to build, I have to pick those people and form basically a kind of a very agile team in a way to make a difference basically. So earlier that setup was like, and also I think the culture over there also helped me to form a kind of an independent team altogether,
Okay.
without having like a people management control. Because sometimes your 50% time will spend on
Yes,
that.
yes,
So you
absolutely.
have like a lot of people managers whom I will reach out, they will send me the resume, I will screen it along with my architects, and then I will identify the few folks whom I really wanted to get them into the board. So I did that for good 2 years,
Okay.
and eventually that helped me forming a kind of a good set of agile data team, which is also one of the use case and one of the success story which they are replicating to other organizations as well.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so you form a team into Shell, and then, as you mentioned, you started as a product lead, where you are capturing the requirement, formulate and distribute and get work done. Okay, so from there, your actual product journey was started, right?
A little earlier than that.
Okay.
So in Shell, we were working on a lot of products.
Okay.
So that time we used to call it applications,
Hmm.
but it was actually a product in itself. I remember, like, if I'm not wrong, my first product was something related to pricing. So pricing of commodities and everything like that.
Oh, nice.
But it's a different way of like combining it. So my product journey started from there. The moment I joined Shell.
Correct.
Indirectly, it was basically where you have to frame the requirement, you need to talk to operators, traders, basically all the supply chain orchestrators basically who are working on selling the crude and products to the wider market, talk to them, understand the requirement, and preparing maybe the high level roadmap, like, okay, where this particular product is going, what is the high level goal that we really wanted to achieve. Now we have come to a stage where we have to identify whether you are working in the right technology or not. So then we identify that, okay, maybe the technology may not be correct, so we have to identify like what would be the new tech, like that time, like React and Golang
Yes,
and everything
yes,
has
yes.
come into
Evolving,
the
yeah.
2018, 2019 time frame, right? So we had a couple of internal other agile product teams basically help in implementing these nuances. So obviously when you are like a kind of a product lead for a specific product, you have to find the best for your product to stay relevant, right? And then I moved away from that pricing product to a kind of a project, or I would say a frame which became kind of a data product team.
Understood.
So, yeah.
And then your data journey
My data journey
really
began.
started. Yes.
Exactly. My data journey began from there.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, and then what is the third, pivot, we will talk about the Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
So now, for me, very interesting is that you are working in a shell. You were having a really good background in, shell customers or in oil and gas industry and all. And then you thought of why I will going to join the Microsoft.
Yeah.
What was thought process behind that?
No, I think it was a very conscious and I think it was very opportunity choice as well.
Okay.
To be very honest.
Yes,
because
yes.
The kind of opportunity you get into big tech like maybe Microsoft, it's
Yeah.
not the opportunity you want to pass.
Absolutely.
Right? So, I that was a call like where I had to decide like whether I would be very domain specific or I would like to go into the other part of the fence. Right. So I was working on all these data products like
Pricing, yeah.
and we were working on a couple of other cloud data products as well in Shell. So I was always wondering like how they come and invent a lot of new things, how the data basically runs in a very efficient way, how all this particular thing works, right? So that actually gave me that actually gave me a maybe single line of thought that okay, maybe I think I should try that as well.
Okay.
Apart from that, I was also thinking whether I really wanted to be domain heavy, where I would like pass on I would end my career with becoming a kind of an oil and gas specific master, or maybe I would try something new.
Okay.
And apply the nuances which I learnt over there. So I choose the second option basically. I think domain was like I've done my masters. Before masters also I did my experience in valve business. And I think one decision which I took of pursuing maybe postgraduate program from Indore during COVID literally helped me. I think it was like one of the first batch for product managers to be there. Again, it was all online, so that actually also like one of the consideration why I wanted to go into a full-fledged kind of a data product business.
So you did IIM Indore after Shell, right? Or during the Shell?
During Shell, it was like it was a postgraduate program.
Executive, yeah.
Something similar, where they have little bit. They have a kind of a dedicated. I think it was 9 months program or maybe a year. If I don't, it was way back in 2020, 2021. But it was a year program where there are like a lot of. It was a weekend.
Yes, correct.
Whole Saturday, Sunday, maybe around 6 to 7 hours we'll spend only on them, and then walking with them. So answering your question in short, like the seed in my mind basically planted while I was working on all these data products, and I thought, okay, how it looks from the other side, another point of view, right? We were talking to a lot of sales folks who were selling this product, but what if like I would be part of that product itself,
yes.
Right? So that curiosity, and then maybe basically aligning your framework. Maybe MBA was part of it. The postgraduate program from Indore was part of it. That okay, in order for me to go there, maybe it would be good to get some nuances from the industry. And then it's been like 9 years I have done my MBA. I thought maybe it would make sense for me to refine and define my approach with the current nuances. So that actually, like I think it's a summation of so many things. But yeah, I chose that approach.
So and I'm 100% sure that for that 1 year working on weekdays you are spending time on your current organization, and then weekend on the studying something with it would be rigorous and it would be very hectic as well, right? Because throughout the year you're not going to take a leaves. Your Saturday Sunday is also going behind your study, and for that Saturday Sunday lectures as well you have to prepare yourself, so it would be very difficult.
But if you look at from the retrospective point of view, we had nothing else to do, right? Because during COVID we were not able to go outside.
Correct.
So I don't want to have a regret maybe after like
Correct.
by 2024, 2024, I had that opportunity, but I didn't materialize it, right? So I had an opportunity,
You utilized it very
utilized it because we were not going outside.
Correct.
We don't need to have anything to do.
Then what to do?
Sitting at home, right?
Wonderful. Yeah,
Good
this
to
is
invest in something, and
Yes.
I think learning is the biggest investment, right?
Yes, yes, that is correct. And with that approach only, I believe one can go in a three different dimension
Yeah.
altogether. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Okay. All right. And then you joined the Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
So can you just brief about your roles, responsibility in a Microsoft, just on a high level?
So, as a principal PM, I mean, you have like so many things which you need to manage. So, you have to manage the current existing products. You also need to manage a lot of platform related initiatives as well. So, I work on a product which is basically, there are two products in a way. One is like internal proprietary product called Cosmos Analytics, and also there is another product called Fabric Spark. So we manage the infra for both the products,
Okay.
basically, which is basically the control plane of, or maybe I would say the control plane, or control plane of both the products in a way. In Cosmos Analytics is basically the product which is basically runs Microsoft. So all the big workloads runs on Cosmos Analytics. It's different from the Cosmos DB product. And Fabric Spark, I think it's very well known, and it is already a kind of a very famous product.
Yes, correct.
So I work on both products, and apart from that, like the usual things are like working on priorities, identifying priorities, preparing roadmap, and talking to stakeholders, partners, customers, and understanding the challenges, nuances, keeping the system switch on, which means like you have to keep it at the high reliability and scalability aspect.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean it's working in a large scale distributed data system is basically the both cater to that main objective only. So yeah, it's been like what 4.5 years now.
Yes. Correct. So now just couple of things, because what answer you gave is really interesting. One thing is that you mentioned about the infra, right? So do you think India, or maybe the work we are doing in India, in all the global tech, it is more on the infra side or less onto the product functionality? Is it so?
It's a balanced one, I think. If you look at from, I mean, we have lot of product teams also over here.
Okay.
I mean, infra doesn't mean like as a kind of a infra. If you can also consider it as a product, because your reliability, scalability, stability of the product comes from there, right? And it is not something which is like an add-on feature, which it has to be there, right?
Yeah, underlying.
Underlying.
Yeah.
But the companies basically treat that part also as a very core, important, critical aspect, and I would say mission critical aspect of their own products.
Okay.
Because without this, your products are, I mean, whatever features that you built may not be supportable, right?
Okay.
So there are, I mean, we have a lot of other products example also in the past where the features were nice, but it was not supportable.
Yes.
Right. So in order to make it supportable, but answering your question, right, I think it's a balance. I mean, we have a lot of feature teams also. We have a lot of this infra team as well. Within that particular space, everything goes hand in hand. Like you cannot build only feature and forget about infra, and you cannot only build infra and forget about the feature, right? So it's kind of a foundation, kind of a layer. What I would say, which basically maps your features and data products on top of it, right? So if there will be something wrong, maybe I think things will fly and maybe it will get escalated. So it's very important and critical aspects as well.
Correct.
So yeah.
And Kunal, one more thing. Do you think in last couple of time, till the time we see that AI is evolving, right? The definition of reliability and robustness of any product, does it changed in last couple of years?
I mean, earlier we were talking about maybe let's say 2 nines to be reliable. Now
Yeah.
we're talking about 3 nines, 4 nines, and if you look at
Exactly.
products like maybe Claude and GPT and all, they have the reliability of 6 nines or 4 nines or 5 nines, right? So I mean, obviously, if something is not giving you the better experience, obviously within a fraction of a second, your feedback will be like, okay, this is not good product,
Yep.
right? So yeah, the dimension of it, the expectation is increased. I would say, rather than like the change in the overall industry, I get the expectation has increased. And that actually led a lot of pressure on all this back-end foundation data systems to be more scalable, reliable, and stable.
And when we when we say basically that reliability or robustness is more competitive compared to the previous couple of years, do you think this will also impact into the scale of the product?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like, so if you are scaling the product, maybe like let's say you have started a product which is like 0 and maybe tomorrow it will be 1, right? So you would be expecting around like 10,000, 20,000 users, right? From going from 1 to 100, which is like going from 10,000 to 100,000, right? So obviously if your scale is not measured properly in your road mapping space, in your roadmap itself, obviously the product will not be having that experience, right?
Yep.
Today, if you are watching maybe let's say Prime or Netflix, and if they could not able to scale and you will get a buffering keep on going on over there, obviously you will feel the difference in a lot of streaming service right now, correct? So all these aspects of which adds up to the reliability. So if I'm going for a new feature, okay, this is the new fancy feature, but your backend infra is not so good,
then
the experience will be bad. So either you have a half-backed feature or you have half-backed infra. So that's why, like I just said, like balancing both is very critical for a product manager.
Okay, understood. And from the scaling and reliability point of view, if you just want to consider or maybe just want to tell other people that these are the 2-3 points that always one product manager or a product guy should keep in mind before implementing any feature or developing any product. So what those would be?
I mean, there are a lot of things, but limiting only to 1 or 2 would be just to give them a teaser. Maybe I would say performance is very important aspect because you need a better performance with keeping the reliability on. So implementing the caching mechanism, or I would say optimization mechanism in place, like memory optimization. Or if you are working on like maybe the large workload, right? So how you are optimizing throughput, memory throughput is also very important. So I think it will become a little technical, but these are like maybe the 2-3 things. So latency, performance, memory optimization, at the same time cost. So these are the 4 elements I would say which are like very critical for anyone to manage a kind of a product. I would not say only infra, a product. Because without all these 3 or 4 elements, the product will not survive. Right. So.
All right. Okay. Now we will shift towards AI plus product, little bit on a mixture of both, right? So very first thing, do you think with the evolvement of AI, most important the role which is become more and more critical is a product manager role? Is it so?
I mean, it's yes and no both. Product manager has always been an important role, and why I think because it deals with a lot of requirement generation, origination, talking to people. So I would say wherever the human involvement is required, right, that role will become kind of a critical role.
Yes.
Right. So rather than a role, I would say going for a skill set is very important because sometimes we apply a label, person may work as per the label or not, it's different thing, but identifying the skill set to call them maybe a PM or maybe BA or anything or engineer. I think it's a critical catalyst for the evolving journey in AI, as a lot of things are getting automated. So we were talking about assistants in the past, right? Now we are talking about operators and executives, right?
Yeah, or agents we have.
Agents, exactly. So agents are basically
correct.
So,
so that is the evolvement ultimately. Yes, correct.
I mean, it's continuous evolution in the role as well. So earlier 2 years back we had few teams where they have an AI PM role, right? But I think PM without doing AI is it's part of their job now.
Correct.
You cannot go away from it. Oh, I'm not. So you have to be. It's part of your core responsibility now.
Yeah. And how does the day look like of a product manager in a Microsoft, in a AI era, especially Microsoft is one of the leader into AI. Then within the org, what is the AI influence will come to your day-to-day life?
And so, I think this answer applies to whoever is working in
Yes.
a big tech company.
Yeah.
But specifically in my case, like if I would identify maybe 3 or 4 main areas. So obviously you start of the day going through maybe a couple of like pending tasks which you need to finish. But parallelly, what's happening to my product? Like what are the core metrics look like, right? It's just like reading the newspaper on a daily basis.
Okay.
The first day in the morning. Right? So either and there how I have used this like basically rather than querying multiple data set, I've created a kind of an application which basically generates the result and gives me the outcome. So I don't need to click multiple sources and to the dashboards and all, but I have an application or maybe a single application which basically provides all this information in a single piece of time. Then going through a couple of like maybe the requirements and the communications that we have received from the different partners and stakeholders, and that's understanding maybe the bottlenecks and challenges and blockers and all. Talking to engineers, talking to partners, stakeholders, talking to the team as well sometimes whenever you get unblocked, and also investing your time, 20% time in doing something which not only contributes to AI but contributes how you can simplify the way you are working, right?
Okay.
So the interesting piece of work what I have done recently, which I also posted on LinkedIn, that's like I identified like what all things are going in the big data world. So I prepared a kind of an application which was like a combination which I was doing for long period of time. We can connect with maybe the live APIs, get the feed from the different 4 major cloud vendor blogs like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and Azure and Databricks, and get what are the important feeds, what they have posted on blogs, different blogs, not the release announcement and not the feature announcement, but the core blogs where they talk about like something specific.
Correct.
And also the connecting to the Apache blogs as well. So built one particular portal, and now I was thinking that how I can get that information on a daily basis on my email ID.
Okay.
So within in M3 Copilot recently, the Copilot Co-work has been launched. So you can feed that information, give that application, you get the summary of the summary and email on a daily basis.
Yes.
So if you wake up in the morning, oh, this is what is happening. Okay, Azure did this, so AWS did this.
Wonderful.
Google Cloud did this.
As you mentioned, it's like a newsletter in the morning.
Newsletter in the morning. I mean, it's just like piece of messages that you receive. Like these are like 4 or 5 updates. If you want to drill down, you can go to the website and maybe then again website was built.
Yes, yeah.
So I know how it works.
So you can see, the earlier people would like to, take a coffee and have a newspaper.
Yeah.
Now for, techie people, right, it is like this kind of approach, right?
Exactly.
Just getting the mail and say what is going on.
What is going on? I think that's basically very important. Right?
Yes, correct.
I mean, in the big data world, things may not get updated every week, every day. But once in a week, I think you would be having something critical going on or something new, which you can't keep your eyes off.
Yes, absolutely. And in the data, the AI adaptation is also too fast, if I'm not wrong. You would know better, right? So, so in that case, how the AI is the involvement of AI would directly or indirectly impacting to all the big tech companies, because data is so frequently getting better and better, right? And you have to keep adapting that change, right? So how exactly it impact?
I mean, there are like 2 facets of it. So one is like you have the raw data, which everyone was working on something to build kind of a product or application on top of that. And you have a reasoning layer, right? So for reasoning layer, because as I mentioned, like we are moving from assistant world to executor and operator world, or maybe I would say agent world, right? So in the agent world, we need a refined data. We don't need only data. We also want to know what that data means, right? Because nowadays, if I have to get something, like if I have to get that summary of that website in an email, I just need to express my intent, right? So when I express an intent, the reasoning layer could understand
Yes.
what Kunal or someone means by it, right?
Yeah.
Once I have that, and once the platform can able to understand this, so for that aspect in the back end, you need a solid foundation of the good data,
Yeah.
not the, I would say, junk
Generate,
data,
yeah.
so that the reasoning has to be at your expectation, right? It may not be 100%, but it may be at 75% also, not bad, right? Something good to start off with. So having a solid foundation, which basically builds the reasoning layer.
Okay.
Once the reasoning is proper, I think you can get that predictive accuracy, as we call it in the model space.
Understood. Really great answer, Kunal. Yeah. So next one thing is that let's shift basically towards the product thinking. Okay. For any of the product manager, most critical challenge would be that thinking on the product roadmap and prioritize it, right? Now, for every product manager, most importantly, there are so many requirements coming from different customers. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Second thing, from the market, right? You always keep your product up to the market, right? You must know about the competitive intel, what is something new coming in, right? Especially when we talk about the data or clouds, the evolvement is so high that you don't know tomorrow which new service will come, right? So that is a one thing. You have another conflict from the customer requirement, some customization and all, right? And the third thing would be on the innovation side. So as a product manager, right, how you manage these three, complications?
So you mentioned innovation,
customer requirement, and the competitive
study.
Yeah.
So I think that's a hard role of product manager, right? Because it has to understand the nuances from internal and external signals, correct? So it's basically a kind of a interpretation of like how you read the market signals, right? So basically what your product's capability is one part, strength and weakness of it. You have seen the competitive analysis of let's say the third party competitive products as well, which are basically multiple products in this particular space. The strength and weakness of it. Now what are the next steps? How are they forming basically into the next big sphere of things, right? And so preparing a roadmap or prioritization, you have to go through like multiple nuances. So either like what are whether I have to prioritize on the weak spots on my product, whether I have to prioritize on the parity features which basically competitors are doing, or I have to create a differentiation, right? So the element basically comes in the space where you have to prioritize between the improvement areas in the product, parity features, like if competitor has, I also need to have it, and the differentiation features, right? So, and apart from that, obviously customer requirements. So it's a very hard spot, but you need to balance the roadmap in a way where I'm not saying that we have to cover everything, but it has to be meaningful in a way which like whichever feature provides the biggest value prop in terms of like creating more user impact without disrupting your engineering and so on and so forth, can help, right? So
okay, so so you're building a infrastructure layer, right? That many of the AI runs on, or maybe the data products run on, right? Basically, yeah. So I think there are a lot of noise on the AI readiness also, right? So for the maybe the end user or consumer, right? What is something that must know for all the infra layer? What are the key things with respect to AI specifically?
See, as long as infra is intact, I think they will get a better experience, right?
Okay.
The models are basically sitting on top of that. So,
Okay.
and metadata is basically what data about the data, correct? So as long as you know what data means, the metadata clarification, or I would say the meaning, will be more refined, right?
Okay.
How AI is basically helping, or if I would say,
In
like,
terms of return, maybe you can say, yeah.
So I mean, if you look at from the user experience point of view, a lot of things has been become like simplified, correct? Not only from maybe the engineer's point of view, but also from the user's point of view as well, right? Getting the curated response, like lot of capabilities, right? Reasoning is one capability, writing is one capability. Apart from that, creating is another capability altogether, right? So all this capability have a like multiple layers, right? We have an application layer where basically we are entering all the details in Claude and GPT and all. Then you have a model layer. Model is just like a magnifying glass, which basically looks at the data. They have like multiple models, LLMs and all, which basically runs on top of it and picks the right value, or maybe provides a kind of reasoning on top of it.
Yeah.
And all this reasoning comes from the back end side of the data,
Correct.
which is like all the different components are working on the latency point of view, performance, cost point of view and all. And beyond that, you have like a lot of servers, right?
Yes.
Which basically runs all this thing.
Correct.
So there are 4 layers as I can basically understand and maybe communicate at a very high level on how this particular platform and products works.
Okay, okay. One more thing is that, there are a lot of, tension going on between, fast moving or adaptation with a AI versus building a clean, more reliable, more robust product, right? So, from your point of view, what should be the thought process here? What should be the clear thinking here that do not take the pressure or maybe balance out?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very ongoing
Yeah.
kind of a trade-off, like which every PM has to make. When is the right time to release the product? Whether either we have to be 100% perfect and then we launch the product,
Yeah.
or whether the product is good enough and then we can launch the product. So there are multiple facets of it. I mean, everyone would be having their own point of view. So I would look at from the PM point of view that what are my trade-offs. So I am looking for predictive accuracy, which is like, okay, once I have the good product, once I have the best product, then only I will basically launch it. And with that also I have to identify like what are the characteristic or criteria of good product, or maybe I would say best product. And another one is okay to launch.
Yeah.
Let's learn from it and let's adapt in the next iteration. So let's not give a half-baked product. Limiting the features, narrow it down, or I would say wedge approach, like where we can have like only maybe small few things to start off with, and then we can iterate based on the feedback and work on not only on the model layer, also infra layer, and start onboarding new players, or maybe I would say new users, right?
Okay.
So I mean there are like approaches. So I would always like try to keep a hybrid approach. We don't need to have like best of everything. Start with something, get the feedback, and
then
implement it in your journey. Try to align the all the right knobs, and then basically ship it and iterate it. So.
Understood. Okay. And this will even help to avoid the pressure of launches as well.
Exactly.
That will also help.
I mean, the scope matters a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
like what is the scope of overall product? That
Sure.
matters a lot.
Okay. Now, see, couple of things I really wanted to ask you with where you can give your advice to many of the people who are aspiring people. Okay. So, very first thing is that into the AI plus data, someone wanted to jump into the product role, right? So from your point of view, what kind of advice you would like to give to some 20 years or maybe 25 years?
I mean, within AI and data, if you are working in, you will be working in a product role only. I mean, this maybe in future, maybe the way things are evolving right now, maybe PMs will also start getting into maybe little bit of coding, because they don't need to do
White coding and all.
a lot of low code, no code tools are already available right now, correct? So what I would say is like try to like learn to write, structure your thoughts rather than learning any new coding language, I would say. It would be good to understand the basics of it, but try to understand, comprehend your thought process in a more nuanced way, which will make your prompts little smarter.
Yes.
Because we all are prompting only right now.
Correct,
right?
correct, correct.
So as long as clear as your prompt in the different products, I mean the journey will definitely evolve from there. So
Okay.
as long as you are very structured, think through in your approaches, I mean it will help.
Okay. If you want to start your career from the scratch at this point of time, what you would like to go on the, yeah, yeah,
On a retrospect.
yes,
On a retrospect, maybe I would have maybe worked more on like maybe writing notes and papers and all,
yeah,
rather than maybe learning and spending time on like understanding the couple of functional areas. We never thought that we would reach here, so no one would have thought about
yes,
it, right?
yes, yes, yes.
So maybe I would have spent more time on like comprehending how the things are going on, documenting it somewhere, and maybe evolving from there.
Okay.
Yeah, so
With one thing that you always, I would say, little skeptical or very thoughtful about evolvement coming in a AI, what it would be that you thought it should impact anyway.
I mean, it's a very, I mean, skepticism was always there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
When we moved from, like, I think, landline to mobile era, or maybe let's say the cloud, and from cloud to AI.
Yeah.
So, skepticism has always been there. There will be a lot of examples would have been pitched in, but I would be like watchful of the governance aspect of it.
Okay.
How accurate or how professionally accurate a response that I would get. I mean, in terms of like keeping the balanced view is very important. Sometimes, like, you know, with this whole recommendation model, like if you like something, you get maybe the extreme version of the like version, and then you will get into that particular loop, right? So try to avoid that and maybe have like diverse
Yes.
interest and test, which basically balance the model and recommendation in a more nuanced way, so that we will not fall into some bias for a specific action, but we would focus to have like a balanced view of the things, looking at the things how they are, rather than
Evolving,
looking
yeah.
at maybe
Yeah.
the two different extremes of it.
This is really interesting answer. Okay, in last, in a product role of the Microsoft, right? What is something that conceptually changed in your mind that your belief was X and now it is something like Y? One thing you want to just summarize.
Yeah, I mean, over like 4.5 years, like what I learned is it's more about we always thinking of building features, building this product, but how to work at a scale, right? How to keep the products running at the scale. When I talk about scale, like very large scale system altogether, right? So managing that part is something is very comprehensive. So what I learned from my previous experience to now so far, how to manage the large scale distributed system basically. In fact, it's like there are a lot of people working on it, but understanding the scale,
Yeah.
the challenges of
Yeah.
it, the nuances, what maybe a small change might create a big impact. So obviously, like there are a lot of things which gets into the picture, but I would say the scale, capacity, and the ability to think at a wider point of view, which maybe I would have worked on Shell, which has impacted maybe hundreds or maybe
Yes,
thousands.
yes.
But here it has impacted thousands and maybe more than that,
Yeah.
right? So that scale I'm talking about, like
Impacting,
impacting,
yeah.
yeah. The impact is basically very important.
Okay, fine. any book or maybe any philosophical thinking you would like to just highlight from your complete career journey? Something impactful from your any of the book or any conceptually that this should be for many aspiring people.
I mean, I've been quite full of lot of books.
Mhm.
So measure what matters is something which
Yeah.
I really like. I was-
Really good book, I would say, yeah.
I've been reading again the system thinking, Vanilla Meadows
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah.
So the rethinking how system
Yeah.
basically works. System thinking is very important in AI and data space. So you only not look from the experience point of view, but you look at the holistic system, right? Because if the experience is bad, okay, there must be issue with latency, performance. Okay, where it drills down to, maybe at a API level, maybe not at API level, backend
Yeah,
level,
yeah.
right? You are not supposed to if you are intervening in the system, how big that impact can create, right? So system thinking is one. The another book which I have went through was like the Neeral's Hooked.
Yeah.
I mean, it has changed the way how I think, right? Because now if I look at, maybe if I use a couple of products on a daily basis, like I always need to look at like what is the hooking factor here, right? What is the hook factor basically which makes our life a little different, the way we reimagine the things, right? So yeah, I mean, these are like 2-3 books, obvious
Okay.
books.
Yeah. And the last thing for you, that if you just want to advise all the people who is using any kind of data analytics product, and they are manipulating or structurize or extract the lot of insights out of data, then something out of your lot of years of experience you want to just advise to all of those people, then what it would be?
I mean, data analytics products, like if you look at the whole journey, right? Maybe from data ingestion to data transformation, data processing, data curation, and once the data curation layer, it will be ready for consumption and the reporting layer. So, and then we will consume the data, basically, right? So, it's a 5 big work streams altogether, right? So, if anyone who is basically getting into that space, right, I would strongly advise to learn a bit of nuances about data, 101 kind of a thing to start off with. And when they are using any big products like, let's say, Instagram and WhatsApp and all that,
Yes,
how
yes.
it basically gives you that experience, right? To try to understand system thinking and also try to understand the back-end aspect of it as well. But apart from that, I mean, I would say reading and writing are the biggest investment. Writing about your thought process, not
Yeah.
writing like just for the sake of writing that, oh, I'm reviewing book and all, no. But writing like, okay, what I really think, what could be the, like if I'm using any product, let's say I'm using N10 or
Yeah.
if I'm using Replit,
Yeah.
let's say, okay, what they could have done differently, what are the improvements, what are the good things about the product, what are the bad things about this product. I mean, there are a lot of, I'm quite critical about a couple of products as well, but as long as I have that particular frame of mind or maybe the lens to look at the things, right, it would be good to be little critic of few things to understand and you can stretch yourself that how you can make this product better, because that is actually what the product thinking is, which can help you in this data and AI space. Because if you look at new products which are coming up, are not like out of the blue products. They are basically complementing to the existing product stack, but it's in more refined,
Yes,
curated,
better way. Yeah.
better way.
Yeah.
So the small product critic, I mean, critic of yourself, critic of maybe few products, but in a more structured, constructive way, can help you maybe making you a good product thinker.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kunal. So I think, we started our podcast with your journey. We understand about all 3 shifts of your career. We understand what is a product role, what is a AI role, how AI is evolving in a data analysis, and then you advise on data thinking, product thinking, what should be product manager challenges are there. So this is a very structured power pack podcast for many aspiring people, I believe so. And thank you so much for your time and key value insights. Okay.
But I think, Savan, you made this conversation very more meaningful, because the way you led the conversation, ask all the right questions, pause it at the right point of time, maybe try to get into some details in between, right? Having that nuance is also a difficult job, so let's not be humble, Savan. You are also doing a fantastic job
Thank you so
here,
much.
and
Yes.
also helping people,
Yep.
and also like expanding your thought process as well. So,
Correct.
which is very, very critical for you to become a next leader.
Thank you so much. Thank you
No
so
worries,
much.
yeah. Thank you.
Okay.